does help to have some lights on at the last minute even. All right, good evening and welcome to the 192nd net from Mount View. So, yep, we're coming up to 200. I don't know how that fits in with the QSO party, but it'll be pretty close. Anyway, something to think about. All right, we've got a great lineup this evening. I'm aware of Neil, VK3BCU, watching, Bob, BVR, watching, Mark, PI, and Fred, ZAQ. All of those are watching. And with Vision this evening, we've got John, VK3 ATV, Peter, BFG, and Richard, BRS, and Clint, CSJ, and Mick, VK3CH. So what we might do, I'll just run a few things and then I'll hand it over to Peter on RTV1. Those with set-top boxes would need to switch to RTV1. And then Peter handed over to Richard, VK3 VRS, and then Richard handed over to Clint, VK CSJ. And at this point, Clint, if you could hand it back to myself, and I'll roll it on to John, VK3 ATV, and VK3 CH. That's the running order, unless, of course, as often happens, I've forgotten someone that has checked in and haven't called them out. So anyway, I'm sure they'll let me know via the usual channels. All right, right, let's see. First cab off the rank is the 12th ATV QSO party, and it's on Saturday the 31st of August. Some communications are gone overseas and interstate, I believe, and also it's a slight change of format from previous years, insofar as it's on the one day, and the time approximate time slots are 10 till 3 on the Saturday, from 10 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the Saturday, then a break 4 hours, and 7 till 9 in the evening, which is targeting, for a change, Europe, as well as UK and others. So, and of course local stations can come in on both sessions. The more the merrier, I'm sure. Anyway, Peter may say something about that in the near future. Perhaps when I hand it over to him now. So I see Peter up on RTV1. So if we'll give a few minutes for people to get across to RTV1 and take it away, Peter. This is VK. This is VK3 Quebec Lima.
Okay, thank you, Ian, and good evening to everyone. I'm Peter, VK3BFG. And to some extent, Ian's stolen my thunder for my first item. But not to worry, he's done it a lot better than I do it, with nice graphics and all. So everyone can see now we're going to do things a little bit differently this time. We're still going to have 2 sessions, but it's all going to be on the one day, and hopefully we might be able to bring in some European, UK stations. Certainly hopeful for Claudio to participate, Claudio being a somewhat regular visitor here to us. But I've also written to the president of the British Amateur TV Club, asking him to see if he could see if there's any interest and put me on to some people, and we might be able to get people like Dave Crump or something like that up. That hopefully would be good. So there, yeah, that's the QSO party. During the week we've changed to 1287 from 1278, on Dale Hughes' recommendation to stay away from 1278 because centre frequency for the Galileo satellite is 1278.75, would you believe? But we've been getting away with it okay, but you know, there's a good reason not to poke the bull. And so the move to 1287 has been made, and we've got the southwest beam still on 1287 as well. So the westerly beam's 1287, the southwesterly beam is 1287, and whoever comes up first will capture the system. So it will work quite okay. Prior to that, though, I did build a stub. It's a short-circuited half wave at 70 sems, and that was going to go in the 23 centimetre line for 1278, just to see if that was the Intermod product or there was an Intermod product on that frequency. So anyway, that'll be a teaching aid from now on, I guess. It's a good thing, because if you ask an electrician, you know, could you pass electricity through that top part, he'd say, no, you short-circuited the thing. But of course, it's not it's a short circuit at certain frequencies, but not 23 centimetres. Anyway, that being the case, we to 1287, and it looks as though just per chance, fingers crossed, always fingers crossed, we've got around the Intermod problem that we're having there, and people are able to get in with some reasonable levels of power. I know John ATV is now in the rating, be one of the misers of the ATV group, along with Jeff 3GE and Richard 3VRS, all of which can run a few milliwatts, and myself for that matter as well. So we don't run very much power out of here either. Okay, I've been starting to work on something that I purchased from Roger, VK5YY, a little while ago. It's a pallet, which is basically a complete amplifier. It's a BL888, I think that's the chip. And I did have a look up the specifications for it, and it does have a single sideband specification for a 500 watts PEP. But for DVB-T, it has a specification for that as well. It gave a power of 110 watts and a gain of 18 dB, with the IMD shoulders at minus 30 dB. And of course, with our filter, if we used that pallet, we could get those IMD shoulders down a lot further than that. So 1.5 watts of drive is what's required for that, for your 110 watts out. So very modest. Anyway, I'm on my Canon camera there, Clint, and I hope the audio is a little better than what it was with the clip microphones, which don't seem to be all that good. So hopefully that's kept Clint happy, and me happy, I guess. No one likes to have bad audio, and I can see it's just going into the red a little bit there. Hopefully I'll get a good report from Clint. Anyway, I've got the pallet over here, and I'm preparing a heat spreader for it. I will be going down to the Eastern Mountain Districts Radio Club on Thursday morning, and hopefully using their little mill there to mill out something that will be required to meet the FET that's there, and that will act as a heat spreader onto further heat sinks. So yeah, I'll hopefully be able to get that done on Thursday. So stand by. I'm just going to take the camera off its mounts, and we'll have a look at what we've got here. Okay, let's unhook that. Come around here, and there's the pellet. See, it's got input and output matching, and that's the device there. You can see it's a dual FET, So it's not all that big when you look at my hand. See the relative size of it. And this is the copper heat spreader that I'm going to get it cut along there, and then we have to mill a little slot in here to take the fet. Roger did provide a heat spreader, but it's full of holes, and some of them are in a very inconvenient place. So I thought, well, okay, I'll make a new heat spreader for that, and this will be yet another standby. I haven't replaced the fet in the one we took out from RTV, so we'll have a couple of standbys, and maybe if we don't need those, we could perhaps sell these as a part of RTV fund. Certainly the purchase price came out of the RTV fund. It was $166 for it, which is a discount according to Roger. so hopefully it'll go okay. It's been there in the waiting room for a few weeks now, whilst I've been dealing with RTV problems and other things. So there we are. That's something that we'll have a look at as we progress, and I'll give you a report when we get it all going and see how that it all works out. So from me, that's about it. So I think we go over to Richard. So VK3BRS to take it. This is VK3BFG, and I'll just have to turn around and turn the transmitter off. So excuse all. There's my rack, by the way. That's why I have problems. There's my ATEM over there. It can't be anywhere else in this shack because of the size and the nature of it. Anyway, over to you.
There you go. Bit of a long gap. I think Peter must have been on DVB-T, but that's okay. All good. Yeah, good news on the. I noticed the change of date too for the Cuso party. Suits me better because I wasn't going to be able to attend the evening session. So. And I didn't want to miss out on, and especially if David Crump ends up coming on board, that'll be fantastic. Yeah, it'd be really good, and if we can do that every year and get, even if we can get the Tasmanians involved as well, that would be good, and Queenslanders, get everyone and make it a really big thing. Anyway, looking forward to that. I'll have to spend some time to try and put a bit of a video together of my shack now that it's changed significantly since last year. Anyway, talking about that, been hunting around on good old AliExpress, and one of my favourite set-top boxes is the V-Made C5. It's just seems to just work flawlessly and very quick, responsive, everything. And looking on AliExpress, and couldn't find them for a long time. I should have bought several of them when I bought that one, but I only bought one at the time. Anyway, I started hunting, and I found this. Ooh, a bit hard to see. Green screen. Hang on, let me flip over. Yeah. And I thought to myself, Oh, you ripper. It's a V-made, new model. I thought that's what it's been waiting for. And I thought, yep, this is good. So, got it. Here it is. And I sort of, you can see here, connections on it. Now this, not too bad. HDMI, good. RJ45, good. Antenna, socket, standard one, but that's okay. That's what I'm using. I thought, fantastic, I've got a second one. It did come with the lead, but came with that plug and an adapter. I thought, oh, not too bad, I can plug it in anyway. I've got plenty of the figure 8 leads. Plugged it in, fired up, came up with all the normal things that I'm used to seeing on the V-made. Went to tune it manually, and I can only tune channels. Even though in the manual it says frequencies, it's channelized. Bugger. No, I was mortally upset. So, yeah, it's sort of no good. And that's what it looks like on the inside. Because, as an amateur, the first thing you do is open something, isn't it? To have a look inside to see what's in there. So, yeah, it would have been happy days if that had worked, but unfortunately it did not. So I was most upset. But backup plan. I also got that one. Thinking, oh, this could be interesting. Very cheap, like $20 cheap. And here it is. And I thought, this could be really good. So I got it. It's one of these plugs again, with no adapter this time. Didn't come with the adapter, just that. Connectors on the back, so you can see just your standard HDMI. It's even got a SCART and the power. No 12 volt DC. I thought, oh, okay. Well, the other one didn't have it either. That was the other problem with that one. Anyway, I plugged it in, tuned it up. Beautiful. I can tune it in. So this one's actually tuned for both channels, RTV. But then I thought to myself, okay, no, I have to deal with that. Now I'm a licensed electrician, so the dodgy thing that I did was okay. I was doing it safely. But then I looked, I went, oh, you can see the power is on this plug. So I'm going to have to probably make up some way of connecting a proper 3-pin lead and put it in there, or look at the circuit, and I can see that there's the power supply right here. So I might just cut the power supply out of it and put a DC socket on it and just run it straight off DC, and that might work. And that was pretty cheap. That was about, like I said, about $20, I think, from memory. So if I'm happy with the modifications, then I might have that as a bit of a extra one. So we'll see. However, I do want to get two of the same and simplify it. So I remember Peter saying that you've got those Q boxes that seem to work on DVB-T without any problems, and that's all I want it for. So I might put my hand up for two if you've still got them and thinking of offloading them. So I'll have a bit of a play with them and see what I come up with. So yeah, so that was, and there's a lot of other stuff too. Things like this, which is basically 1 in, 4 out. So, and I've got a few other bits and pieces that I'm making up. It's just trying to neaten things up here because, yeah, it's quite a mess. It's very messy. So I've got a lot of work to do to tidy all this up and make it a lot neater. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I've been doing project-wise, electronics, and haven't had much time to do much else. Been looking through a few little videos trying to sort out some software on my computer, and I stumbled across something that might be of interest to people, and I'll just put it on. Yeah, I know, Rob, put a 3-pin plug on it. Yeah, I can do that. Maybe. I'll think about that one. But I want to turn it into 12 volt anyway, so yeah, anyway, so Rob just sent me an email, i.e. So, hi Rob. Just a quick one. So, Ian's stream is currently, there's 18 watching. Hello everyone there. I've got 4 watching on my YouTube stream, and there's one on Discord. So I think we've got all the bases covered there. We're not streaming on BATC at the moment, and I'm not sure if Rob's running his stream. I'm not too sure. Maybe Rob can send me an email and confirm that. Anyway, onto this little video. It's nothing technical. It's just one of my other hobbies, which I haven't indulged in for a while, and I'll let the video do the talking.
live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
There we go. So, yeah, I suppose no surprise that I'm into trains of all sizes. So another one of my hobbies. Thanks Steve for letting us know about the Discord audio. So hopefully that's fixed now. I was playing around with Discord the other day, so obviously changed the setting and forgot to fix it. Anyway, that's all sorted. Clint will be on next, and that's all I've got. So Clint, get yourself organised. I'll go to test pattern and then I will drop off.
Just like that. Right, let me just get the righto, Mr. Brash. Can hear you. This is one of my little black kittens. I've got two of these little guys. This is Samantha. She's a black cat. But there's two of these blokes, and they're guys, the girls, the two little girls, my daughters. And they're playing amongst my feet, and she's a beautiful one, this one. Isn't she gorgeous? Oh, it's lovely, these little creatures. Peter, audio spot on, no distortion factor at all. There's nothing wrong with the other microphone, it just needs the level turned down somehow, if you can do that. But this built-in mic in the camera is working fine for you, so not a problem. It's perfect, spot on. It was a pleasure to listen to you and your show and tell. So excellent stuff. Good idea to move the to combine the dates to the one date for the ASV QSO party. So that's my little pussycat's playing with my foot. I reckon that's a good idea. I remember you asking a few weeks ago whether we should keep the Friday night session or move it the way you've done it, I think. So, no, it's good. It's a good way to combine everything on the one day. And what else? And it also means it doesn't interrupt my ASV broadcast on a Friday night. Even though at the end of the day I was actually happy to take the Friday off from that and to come up and to make the excuse that we've got the ATV QSO party. But it actually gives me a chance to promote what's happening on the Saturday, the following day anyway. So I'll give that a bit of a plug during my Friday night session. Interesting about those set-top boxes, Richard, and I can understand your disappointment with the unit not working on RTV. I've been there and done that too. I think between all of us, one way or another, we've all ended up we've somewhere behind us on a shelf. Somewhere we've got a pile of set-top boxes that we've all purchased at one stage, and just as an experiment to see if it was going to work or not, because it's cheap, I suppose. But it is a bit of a disappointment when the damn things don't manually tune. There's my other black kitten there, Tess. She's the short hair. The other one was the long hair. Okay. The only thing I've been doing. Oh yes, I was going to ask about the set-top boxes too. If they had the standard Belling and Lee connector on the back, the Pell connector, I think is another term for them. And sure enough, they do. So I'm not a big fan of those Belling and Lee connectors, I'm afraid. So it's a bit disappointing that, but I'm curious to know what sort of what quality you're getting indicator on the repeater, if you can check that on the one that works. So no doubt you'll get 100% signal quality, signal strength, but I'm just curious to know what your quality percentage is on it. Yeah. Oh yes. Now the thing I was just experimenting with in the last 24 hours. This is of course HF business, but some of you might have noticed that I have an FT DX9000D. These are benchmark HF transceivers, and I think the FT-DX9000 represents the last of the big mothers HF transceivers. This is a 200 watt PA right up to 6 meters, and she's big, she's huge, and she's heavy. And I'm just going to pan in front of the radio here. So it incorporates this TFT display as well, and on the back of the back of the transceiver you can connect a larger monitor, which people would have noticed as well. That's the larger monitor. What's that, Richard?
Off camera.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm the wrong way. This is what I was meant to show. There it is. I was looking at my preview monitor instead of what was going to air. So, like I say, this 9000D represents probably the last of the big base radios that will ever be made, I think. That is extremely heavy. It's I suspect that it's in the vicinity of 25 kilogram, and it's awkward to carry, very awkward to carry, but it's a very nice wireless, and I'm glad to have been able to secure one of these at one stage. We had wasn't a serious problem with the frequency display. A lot of the segments, these segments that make up the fluorescent display, were losing a luminosity. Not badly, but it's I queried whether these were still available, and fortunately Yaesu Spare Parts in California still had some in stock, believe it or not. So I managed to acquire a new display, which has made this display nice and bright. Anyway, what I'm getting to though is that the receiver has a GPS functionality to it, and just in the last day or so, I've been exploring that, and you can see the GPS antenna that this has just got off eBay. But many years ago, there was a GPS article on Silicon Chip magazine, and this is the front cover of that article. As you can see, it was April 2001, GPS unit for a PC, and this is one of the many first articles, and let's see if I can pick the page. Anyway, so there's the that's basically the article, and you can see a pretty old laptop there. You don't see those around anymore, but that's the module in there. And if I go back to my USB camera, this is what I bought many years ago. That's the GPS unit there, and basically the rest of this is just an interface to power the GPS receiver and to provide a cable, RS-232 cable, to the back of the radio transceiver. And I've had that sitting around for ages. I mucked around with it for a little while, and just a proof of purchase thing, really. And it's just sat around all these years. And I dug it up last night, and it just takes a 6-volt supply. It's got a bit more on it right now, but the regulator on it knocks it down to 5 volts. And put the GPS antenna on it, and blow me down if it all didn't work straight away. Using a simple little program that monitors, a little GPS diagnostic program, and within a few minutes it was seeing satellites and lots of data. So the RS-232 port on the back of the radio here, I just plugged it in just a few hours ago just to see if it worked. And it does. If I go back to my camera here, if you go to the top corner of the screen, the little GPS symbol, or GPS symbol there, says yes, it's receiving GPS, and that's the local time and also the UTC. What I need to confirm though is whether or not, despite the fact that there's a GPS data being inputted into the radio, I'm not 100% sure whether that synchronises anything else within the transceiver as far as the overall time that the radio has, like that clock that's going there you can see. I'm not 100% sure that if it does. But what it does do, from what the instructions tell me, is that because it'll bring up your location, your latitude and longitude, which is down here. That's my location there. What that does is it facilitates the Great Circle map to be positioned over your home location. So that is automatic. Because it's receiving GPS data, it places your location right over where you are on the Great Circle map, built into the transceiver, and which means that when it comes to antenna control, because this radio has the facility of being able to control your rotator, so nope, went past it. So that is the rotator. Well, it's not connected right at the moment. That's going to be the next thing I'm going to do. But that symbolises the rotator connection antenna, the ACU rotator, which is the DX, the 2800 DXA, and yeah. So I'm just exploring all those little facilities now. I've had the radio for a long time actually, and I'm only just starting to explore some of these features. But I'm just very pleased that the GPS module is working quite well, and yeah. So I'll just place that into a little box and have that permanently arranged so that it just sits at the back of the the transceiver, and away she goes. So yes, it's a nice little box, that. Brand new. When they were brand new, being sold and all that, they were in the vicinity of 10-12 grand. So like I say, they were pretty expense wireless, and these days you'd be particularly for this 9000D, which is a dual band. It's got two independent receivers in here, so I can monitor 40 meters and like 10 at the same time, and transmit as well. So not on 10 megs though, but yeah, it's a beautiful radio to have in the shack. I'll have that for a while to come. And the resale, it's easy to get $6 grand for it at least, easy, and matching speaker over here as well. So I think that's all I really wanted to say. Just switching cameras. Yeah. I think that's about it. So there's probably something I'm missing, but anyway, thanks for doing it tonight, Ian. Excellent stuff. And again, the audio, Peter, was spot on, and the little train trip, Richard, was fantastic too. So excellent stuff. A very pleasant good evening to all the viewers watching tonight on the YouTube and Discord and wherever else. And we'll be back this Friday night to do the ASV broadcast. So we're looking forward to the ASV QSO party. It'd be great if we can get a few English stations online. Yeah. So on that note, we pop it back to you there, Ian. So everybody can go switch back to RTV2 and pick up Ian, VK3QL, to take it.
Right, thanks Clint, that's a hell of a radio you've got there, 25 kilos. Is that with speakers? I'm just joking. That's a mammoth beast. Yes, I don't know if we'd see, as you say, I think it's the end of the line for those mammoth units. Everything's getting smaller these days, even those set-top boxes that Richard is showing us. They're getting flimsier, and of course Peter's alluded to that in his hunt for RTV1 receivers. All right, yeah, audio is great, Peter. That's good. I must admit, I did like the closeness of the audio. It's just that it seemed to clip the level was too high. So I think you probably could resurrect the Lavalier microphone. But just to lower the level of the input into the system is all that was needed. The heat spreader, yes, you mentioned you're going on Thursday. I assume to EMDRC workshops to work on the heat spreader. That reminds me of what a great workshop facility that is for members of the Eastern and Mountain District Radio Club. So yeah, if you're interested in workshop works and you don't have a fully equipped workshop at home, you might think of joining the EMDRC and running through their training program on how to use the equipment there. And the model trains was great too. So yeah, love those ride-on things. When you're going around a corner and there was a car coming the other way, I was wondering what the hell's going to happen there? Who gives way to who? But anyway, I digress. All right, I'll keep moving. The next clip I'll show is just a 4-minute one. So John, you'll be up next, and John, you'll pass it to Mick, and then Mick, if you pass it back to me, that'd be great. The next clip that I was going to show was Dave from BATC fame. He did a presentation to ham radio trade fair, which happened last weekend in Germany at Friedrichshafen. There was a forum, a special DATV forum, specially devoted to digital amateur television, and he did a presentation on the Portsdown, in particular the Portsdown 4 testing equipment. And this was the introduction. His whole talk goes for about half an hour, but I've split it up into a number of episodes, which I think people will find interesting, and I'll spread them over the next few weeks. But this is the first one, an introduction to the Portsdown and its test equipment capabilities, with a sort of an overview.
The ham radio event at Friedrichshafen in Germany, held annually in June, is a renowned international trade fair focused on amateur radio. This year, one of the highlighted forums delved into digital amateur radio, DATV, showcasing various DATV systems such as Portsdown, Pluto and Node Red. Dave G8GKQ presented on the testing capabilities of Portsdown 4 to the forum attendees. The following video is part of Dave's presentation on the Portsdown's capabilities.
Well, good afternoon to you all, and thanks to Michel and Pierre-Andre for setting this up and for asking me to talk about the Portsdown test equipment. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dave G8GKQ. I started, along with Noel, the Portsdown project about 7 or 8 years ago, building on the excellent work done by Evereast F5OEO. But specifically today I'm going to talk about the Portsdown test equipment. So without further ado, let's start. First of all, I'm going to talk about the hardware, what the capabilities are of the complete hardware, and then specifically look at the test equipment and some of the ways we can control it. Portsdown 4 hardware is pretty simple really. It's a Raspberry Pi 4, not a 5 at the moment, Raspberry Pi 4, and a 7-inch touchscreen. They connect together with a ribbon cable and allow you to control the Raspberry Pi really easily. The basic capabilities, we've got we started off as a DVB-S transmitter, went to DVB-S2 and added DVB-T. Thanks to some excellent work by Heather, M0HMO, we've managed to add a receiver in, and some further work from Charles, we've got a DVB-T receiver in as well. Colin G4EML has written some software that enables it the same platform to do FM, CW and SSB. That's the Langstone. Not going to talk about that at all today, but it's worth looking up for you. It'll also handle video streams, but the main thing we're going to talk about today is the test equipment. Once you've built it, you can explore the utilities that are there, things like calculating range and bearing from locators and so on. You can build it any way you want. You do need a 7-inch touchscreen or possibly a 5-inch touchscreen using a DSI connector. It will not work with the old 3.5-inch touchscreen that we had on the Portsdown 2020. But how you build it is up to you. Without further ado then, on to the test equipment. Built up quite a suite over the years. Band viewer, I think, is the headline one. A signal generator, a means of measuring noise figure, a means of measuring noise and carrier level, an add-on for a power meter, a frequency sweeper for sweeping filters, an XY display for those old spectrum analyzers, and a DMM, a digital multimeter display and logger.
Right, so that was the first episode, and I'll show subsequent episodes in the following weeks, which will cover in detail. Doe will go through the detail of each of those components of test equipment capable on the Portsdown 4 unit. All right, before I just cut across to John, VK3ATV, I'll just mention that we currently have, says he 19 on YouTube, and we've had Steve Trebs come up on chat, VK3NF, and 5 on Richard's YouTube, and also there's a Richard Howlett has come up on YouTube too, so that's all good. And also I might mention that the recording of the net is up on my YouTube channel for a couple of weeks, and currently it's well in excess of 150 views. That's just of the recording. That's independent of the direct views during the live net. So, and that's obviously convenient for people who overseas in particular, or interstate, who are unable to watch it directly via RF, which is obviously our preferred method, but if it's physically impossible, we hate you to miss lots of good stuff that we like to show and tell about. All right, without any further ado, I'll give a end of transmission K signal to you, John, and drop carrier, and it's over to you, John.
there we are. Yes, we'll have to see if the SR system is going to behave. So I'll just see if I've got audio with that. And yes, I do. Alright, we'll keep going then. Alright, visited Peter today, and after a lot of deliberations and measurement things, we decided and found that some coax like this, not this one, but coax of that ilk, wasn't very good, and we replaced it with, well, I replaced it when I got home with a length of that there. So if you see, we're going along there, that silver one there, that's been put in. So I'll need to put some more wires on and check that everything's okay. So work needs to be done with that. And also I managed to get the front panel on the sides going. Calvin sent me over an updated version of the software that talks to it, what he calls the AV sender, and yep, after we did all that, it's doing everything, and I switched on and off a few times just to make sure that it's wasn't just a once off, and it comes up every time. So there you go, we're very happy with that. What else have we been doing? We sort of got dobbed in, or yeah, no, I didn't do it myself, and I think they asked me, for the Old Timers Club. They have the two luncheons each year, March and September I think it is, and I put my hand up to do a session on the microwave stuff that I've been getting into, and talk a bit about the mad days and everything else, which I think's a bit strange given that I'm probably one of the newest kids on the block. There'd be a lot of other hams that have been done more than me, but anyway, so writing the newsletter I used to write, it was very easy to find appropriate text and photos and everything, and I was thinking, well, I've got to put a PowerPoint together one day. And on Monday I did listen to one of the OT broadcasts, but they played something from many years ago. But when I finished listening to it, I thought, oh, well, I better get onto this. And yeah, you know how when you sort of get on something and everything goes right and you just sort of get into the zone, and you're typing away and yeah, good ideas in your head and things seems to work, and then you look up at the clock and think, ooh, where's the hours gone? Why am I hungry? Why is it dark outside? So short things is my presentation's all done, ready to go for September. So there you go. One less thing to worry about. Yeah, good on the model trains there. I noticed some of the points were set against you, and you managed to go straight through. I suppose it just pushes the blades across. When I worked in the railways, that was a big no. That was known as a run-through, and you would spend lots of stuff. And I'd have to repair some of those. Not very often, because the drivers would be in a big lot of strife and have to explain why they did a run-through, because it meant they've gone past a signal at stop. What else have we got? Oh yeah, and Clint on the heavy radio. Yes, I suppose, especially with everything going software defined, things will get smaller, but there you go. I did used to lug the 9100 around to Bundoora Park and a few places for playing radio, but I'm glad I could park the car pretty close to everything and not have to carry it too far. And another thing I've discovered with Peter fixing up the Peter is I can get in on, 1246 and wind up on RT1. So we can do either. We seem to be about reasonably the same as I'm running full power, which I sort of have to do. And I notice I do this, any movement, it looks, like that. But I think that's just the SR systems, not the repeater. So the sooner we can get going on T, we'll be happy. But I suppose for the ATV part, if push comes to shove, at least I can get involved. I'll have to think of what I can put up that's sort of new. Not sure, but of course I'd much rather have the hides all going, so we'll see what happens. I could say, oh look, that's August, you know, but you know how it is when things come around quicker than what you think. I mean, mate, we're in the middle of the year now, so yep. Alright, that's all I've got, so putting it back to Ian. So good evening to everyone watching through whatever means you may be doing. And yeah, it looks like the SRC.
Take it, John.
Tonight. Oh, back to John then. Alright, John ATV and William down taking it too. Okay then, cheers all, hopefully catch you next week.
Good evening. This is John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. Second time lucky. Of course, I had the camera video up on VMix for all night until about 30 seconds before I had to go on air, which is usually pretty standard for me. Good evening. Shape before this is John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. I have second time lucky to DVB using the camera videos up on VMix for all night until about 30 seconds before I had to go on air. I've been running the DHTV Express for quite a number of years now. Good evening. This is John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. I have second time lucky to DVB using the camera videos up on VMix Express for all night until about 30 seconds before I had to go on air. Running the DHTV Express for quite a number of years now. Good evening. This is John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. I have second time lucky to DVB using the camera videos up on VMix Express for all night until about 30 seconds before I had to go on air. Running the DHTV Express for quite a number of years now. Good evening. This is John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. I have second time lucky to DVB using the camera videos up on VMix Express for all night until about 30 seconds before I had to go on air. Running the DHTV Express for quite a number of years now. All right. Well, I'll have John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. I have second time. Okay, last time, lucky.
Yep, that's it.
All right, excuse me everyone for that. It's the first time I've actually used this transmitter, and I'll start my spiel again. So I'm using DVB-T, which is the Hyde's exciter. I've been using the DATV Express on S and DVB-S and DVB-S2 for many years, but now I've got the DVB-T, and obviously, as you can tell, with no video on my first attempt and looping on my second attempt, I've got a couple of teething problems, but hopefully it's okay now. The video quality seems to look pretty good, what I'm getting back, and shows I might have to shave before the nets on Tuesday nights now. I was going to have a presentation on the putting the Hyde's transmitter together, but I'll have that hopefully for next week. I didn't get a chance to put that together. I'm running the video out of my PC into the Hyde's transmitter as the third monitor out of the PC, and I haven't got a HDMI splitter, so I can't actually see what's on the third screen until it goes on air. So I'll have that sorted by next week. I do plan to get a HDMI splitter and then just have a small monitor like this. Quite a few of the ATVs use those, and they've got HDMI input, and they're about $50 or so online, and they come with a stand. In fact, there's I'm sure you can see there's one that I use for the output of the A10 Mini Pro. So they're quite useful when you're an ATVer. I'm running about 240 milliwatts at the moment into the repeater, and I think I can get it down a little bit lower. So that's what Peter was talking about earlier, about not having to run a lot of power. So I'm located in Williamstown, and basically I'm just shooting a signal across the water. I will repair my DATV Express. Hasn't been working for a while, so that'll be my next project. Now I've got this Hyde's transmitter working. It's great to see so much activity since we moved to 1287. There are a lot of people trying to get into the repeater and having reasonable success during the week. And it was the first time I could get into the repeater quite reliably, so that was great to be able to do that. I did see another. I was going to say a new ATVer, but I believe he is a long-time ATVer. VK3 ACR Ray was transmitting this afternoon, so hopefully we'll get a chance to see him on the net shortly. He had a very good picture into the repeater. Richard, your video. Look, I'm a half trained buff. I've worked in rail for the last 24 years, so you can't help but be interested in all things rail. Rail communications, really. I always tell everyone the locomotives is just a mobile platform for the radio system. But one thing I did want to mention with your video, and just a hint to others, when you're making a video, I assume you made it with your mobile phone, your iPhone or something. If you video like that, you'll get the thin picture. If you rotate and video like that, you'll get widescreen video, which is what we use and what we transmit. So next time you're videoing on your phone or even taking a photo, remember, you hold it sideways or horizontally, you'll get the widescreen picture. for all those that aren't on the email list for the Melbourne ATV group, we are going to hold a get-together session at the Amateur Radio Victoria rooms. They've kindly offered to have the Melbourne ATV group use the facility. So that's on the 20th of July, and we'll be there from about 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. So bring along your ATV projects to show people, or to get advice on it. If you're struggling to get your transmitter operational, bring it along, or bring your information along. There'll be lots of ATV heads there to be able to help you with any problems. And look, it's not really straightforward to get onto ATV, particular digital amateur television, because there's so many settings you need to get exactly right in your exciter to be able to get into and activate the repeater properly. So come along, ask questions, give advice, show your projects, or anything else that you think ATVs might be interested in. There's quite a few people have already expressed or have already accepted the invitation to come along, so it should be a good day. There's a cafe next door. They have reasonable coffee, pretty good coffee. They also have food there, so if you want to bring lunch, or if you don't want to bring lunch, you can buy lunch next door. I was hoping to. There's a widescreen TV at the rooms, so hoping to get perhaps a YouTube stream or Discord on that, so that ATVs who can't make it along can transmit through the repeater, and we'll be able to watch and talk on the 2 metre liaison channel. So that's at the Amateur Radio Victoria rooms on the 20th of July between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So I hope to see lots of ATVers come along and meet in person. Although a lot of us have, but a lot of new people haven't, and you'll get to meet us, which will be great. So that's about it from me. I'm glad I worked out the video and audio bugs, and I haven't been on the net for quite a while, so it's great to be back and have a reliable picture, a reliable transmission. So that's great. And as I said, I'll get my DATV Express working again, so I'll have DVBS operational as well. In fact, while I was installing the DVB-T transmitter into the rack here, I also pulled out my old analog system and reassembled that. So I've got the 3 modes. All right. So as I said, hopefully next week I will have a bit of a presentation on what it takes to put the hides together, and it's really not all that difficult. It's really just the hides exciter. The most difficult part of that is probably paying the money to get that. I then run that into a Bert Moderman amplifier, and it's only the 3 watt version, because I didn't think I'd need a lot of power. Some people have got the higher power versions. And I've put a 5 dB attenuator in it. I just wanted to show that's the SMA attenuator, and the reason I put that 5 dB in is because there is a variation between the maximum output of the hides and the maximum input to that Bert Moderman 3 watt amplifier. So you've got to be very careful. Run your hides at no more than about minus 20 dB on your in the settings, or you can run it to 0 dB if you put the there's about 5.5 dB difference, so a 5 dB attenuator should be enough. So just be careful with that so you don't blow up your amplifier. Alright, that's it from me. Great to see so many people watching, and great to see so many people transmitting and have some interesting sessions to show, so that's great. Alright, I'll put it back to Ian to close off the net. So, good night everyone. This is John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. Great, thanks John for that, and great to got that audio loop. I've been caught on that audio loop, having YouTube running on a browser on the same machine now, feeding audio into the transmitter. So it's a real gut getcha. Just a minor point, you've got a lot of background noise. I think you're aware of it. So the microphone that you're using is very close to a big fan, and we're hearing the fan, which is quite high level. Oh, you got to. Cold air is free. That's the thing. John was saying that the heater at his feet. I think he's in a garage, which in a rather cool environment. So that's. Cold air is free. That's what they tell us. All right. I just was going to do the wind up. I might often I close out with a list of stations that I've seen on the repeater, just as a sort of an up-to-date of who's been on, a list of the transmitters, if you like, into the repeater. And for some reason, the list that I've been showing of recent weeks has missed James, VK3HB, Ray, VK3ACR, and Peter, VK3. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that Peter, VK3 TLF, is pretty close to getting into the repeater from quite a difficult position, so it's very promising. But the other two I certainly have got in the repeater. Ray was on this very excellent transmission earlier to today, so it'd be great to see Ray and of course James back on the net when they feel they can. I've got the time. I know James has a lot of time commitments. Ray, it'd be great to see you come up to a very experienced ATV from the 70s, I believe. So that's all good. All right. That's all. I'll close out with the roll, what I call the roll call, and and so good night from Lucy's gone. I can't show Lucy like Clint was showing his black pussycats. So I've only got we've got two pussycats, but Lucy's the one that does all the executive producing. So it's good night from me, and it's good night from Lucy with the roll call following.